I'm the guy who sits in the chair. That's my job. I really think of what I do as a kind of stenography. I don't glorify it. I don't make it more spiritual. I don't think I'm more evolved than anybody in this room. I just don't think it works that way. I think I have an odd skill set that's been developed, maybe prior to this lifetime, but certainly during this lifetime, that is employed to good usage through what they do. And I have this very odd experience of having, it'll be 12 books. The 12th book is coming out in a couple of weeks that are in print, with my name on the cover, that I didn't write. So when people say, I love your books, I'm really happy you like the books, but I think of them as the books and not my books. They're really the guide's teachings, and I think I perceive myself as a collaborator in that I'm being used through this, and I'm questioning, and I'm present for it, and they're using my vocabulary and occasionally exceeding my vocabulary, because once in a while we have to look up a word that they use because I don't know if I don't know the word, or I know it's a word, but I don't know what it means. But other than that, I just sort of consider myself as present for this stuff. And it's good stuff. I don't deny the quality of it. I actually am not somebody that necessarily believed in channeling. I'm an unlikely candidate for this. I had read, when I was a graduate student, I think half a Seth book, and thought that it was kind of remarkable. And I don't think I finished it. I know I didn't throw it across the room. But I mean, that was it. And I went, well, there's something to this. And I think it actually had a large effect on me. But I wasn't looking to go further. And, the story that I always tell is I was 25 years old and I had hit a real wall in my life. And not because I thought it would be nice to become spiritual. I didn't know what that even meant. I began to pray for the first time in my life. I was raised something of an atheist in New York City, where we didn't believe in those kinds of things. And, I got an answer, is what happened. It was the first voice I heard, which was telling me to get my act together, and that was kind of it. And I did. And so I had an experience shortly thereafter that people said sounded like, and I don't know what it was really, a spontaneous Kundalini awakening, but it was an experience of energy moving through my body. And I started seeing little lights around people, and my world started getting turned inside out. And that was really it. None of my process was graceful. Or maybe it was terribly graceful, but it didn't feel graceful at the time. It felt like being turned inside out like an old sock, and watching everything that had accumulated just continue to fall away. And that's a process that's actually ongoing. I held a little group that met in my apartment for years, 18 years actually. People would put $10 in a basket. It was invitation only. I wasn't looking to be known for this. I was a college teacher. I ran a graduate program at another college, and I, had a quiet, lovely life in my academic way. And eventually, when I was 48, they started to dictate books through me. That's really what happened. At 48, I started to hear, I think, and as soon as I became willing to transcribe and record the lectures, which I hadn't been willing to do up until that point, they began with the books, and they really haven't stopped. It's been pretty much a book a year since I said okay to that. And, and here we are, and that's really it. So in terms of what we do in these workshops, if you're new, the guides will likely lecture at the very top once we get going. They'll tell you what we're going to talk about this weekend and what the focus is going to be. In all likelihood, and I don't know, but I'm presuming this, they'll attune you. The workshops are really energetic experiences as much as anything else. They come with an energy that's palpable. And that's why I continued doing it when I was in my early 30s and starting this little group. I just wanted to be in the energy because it was so potent. And in a shared experience, my own skepticism was overridden by the experience of the energy. I'm not a good New Ager. After that one Seth book, I really don't listen to other channels' work, and some of that's intentional. I don't like to compare. I'm not the most graceful channel in the world. If you haven't seen me work before, there are some people that just look great doing it. I just don't know how they manage that. I would love to be able to sit in a lotus position with a rainbow, hologram spinning behind me. But I just can't, because for me it's a physical experience and I'm really just trying to keep up. So if you haven't heard me live before, or you've only listened to the audiobooks, because the audiobooks are me actually reading the transcripts. I'm whispering the words and repeating them as they come, and sometimes it's a mile a minute, and I'm just trying to keep up. You're really hearing the whole lecture in a way that I'm not. I'm hearing phrase, 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 one after the next. It's like reading 100 fortune cookies in a row for me to channel. And you're putting the narratives together. I'm barely doing that. So they'll do, they'll lecture, they'll do some attunements, I assume. And then we'll see beyond that, there's time for your questions on the teaching, questions on your lives. Every day they'll probably lecture 2 or 3 times, I would assume, and have 2 or 3 times to work with the energy and your questions.